Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mina. In this video, you're going to learn how to draft this trendy, beautiful top. If this sounds like what you're interested in, please stick around. Let's dive straight into the video. I folded this paper into two. I went ahead to draw out a starting line, which is also my shoulder line. So from this shoulder line, I'll mark my bust point. My bust point is 10.5. I'll go ahead and mark it. Then I'll use my straight ruler to mark the line across as shown. The next step is to take my shoulder to waistline. My shoulder to waistline is 16. I'll go ahead and mark it. Then I'll also use my straight ruler to rule the line across as shown. Then the next measurement is my waist to the full length. Like the full length, a normal full length of a top is 23 or 24 inches. I'm going to use 23 inches for this. I'll go ahead and mark the 23 inches, and I'll also use my stretch ruler to draw the line across. The top we are working with has an asymmetric hemline, and I'll be using 6.5 to achieve that. You can use more than 6.5, you can use 7, 8, 9, you can even use up to 10. So it depends. This was what I had left, so I'm just going to use this. I'm not going to add extra paper for it. From the center front, I'll come out by 3 inches for my neck width. Then I'll go down by 3 inches as well for my neck depth. Then I'll use my French curve to connect those points together as shown. From the center front, I'll take my shoulder measurement, which is 7. I'll go ahead and mark where I have 7. From that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll use a straight ruler to connect it back to the neck width. The next step is to measure from my shoulder to my chest line. The chest line I'm working with is 7, but I'll go ahead and mark 8. That is plus the 1 inch for shoulder slope. Okay, to achieve your chest line, what you have to do is to divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 to it. I will also mark my shoulder measurement on this chest line, so I will have a straight line when I'm rolling the line across. Then the next step is to place my tape from the shoulder slope to measure what I have. Then I'll go ahead and fold my tape into two to determine the midpoint. I'll mark the midpoint. From the midpoint, I'll go in by ½ inch. So from the ½ inch, I'll connect it back to the shoulder slope. The next step is to take my bust circumference on this chest line. My bust circumference is 8.5. I'll go ahead and mark it. Then I'll use my curve ruler to connect from the midpoint to my bust point as shown. So I'll label all the lines so you know which is which. The chest line, the bust points, my waistline, the full length. For the extra 6.5 inches, I will just use EX. The next step is to plot my dart. So on the bust point, I'll take my bust span measurement, which is 4.5, which is as well called nipple to nipple. I'll take the same thing on the waistline, 4.5, and I'll also mark the same thing on the full length. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect the dotted lines together. So that is our dart leg. On the waistline, I'll come out by ½ inch on both sides for my dart. Then from the waistline, I'll come down by 6 inches. That's where my dart is going to stop. I'll go ahead and connect from the waistline to the bust point as shown. I'll equally do the same thing to this other part. So on the chest line, I mark my bust circumference already. So I'll just go ahead and add 1 inch for seam allowance. On the waistline, I'll take my waist measurement, which is 6.5. I will also replace the 1 inch for the dart. Then I'll add 1 inch as my seam allowance. That is my accurate waist measurement, 1 inch for seam allowance and 1 inch for dart. Then on this full length, I'm going to take my hip circumference. My hip circumference is 9. I'll mark 9 and then I'll also add 1 inch for seam allowance. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect the dotted lines together as shown. I'll connect from the waist to the chest line first. Then I'll connect from the waist to the full length. I'll go ahead and blend my armhole to meet with the seam allowance. The next thing I'm going to do is to eliminate these darts. So to eliminate the darts, I took 1 inch for my dart. What I'm going to do is to bring it to the side, right? I'll bring the 1 inch to the side, then I'll connect it. You can see how I place my French curve, connected it back to the chest line, and I connected it back again to the full length. When I'm done with my dart elimination, I'll go ahead and cut it out. Pay attention to the areas I'm cutting out. When I'm done cutting the front pattern, I'll introduce a new pattern paper. Then I'll trace out the side for my back pattern. I've gone ahead to place a new paper on the front pattern paper. Then I left 1 inch for my zipper allowance. For the back neckline, I'll be using 3 by 1. For the front we use 3 by 3. So from this neck depth, I will go up by 2 inches to mark the 1 inch that is left as shown. That's for my neck depth. Then I'll connect it back to the neck width of the front as shown. So basically we are using 3 by 1 for the back neckline, while for the front is 3 by 3. I left 1 inch for my zipper. I also went ahead to mark out the 1 inch with my pencil. I'm going to use a marker pen for it later, but for now I want to trace out the side first. I'll leave a mark on the waistline and also on the full length, so I will know where my waistline is and also my full length by the time I take out the front pattern. I'm done tracing out the side. The next step is to remove the pattern paper and make the full length of the back visible. I'm also going to make the zipper allowance visible as well by using my marker pen to draw the line. I'm going to do the same thing to the waistline. That's why I left a dotted mark or line so I can use it to trace it out. We are done drafting our back pattern. The next step is to cut it out. I needed to use the front pattern to draft out the back pattern first before I go ahead with using the extra inches we left to achieve the style we are working on. To eliminate my zipper bulge, I will go out by ½ inch on the waistline. I'll connect it to the upper part as shown slantly. Then I also connect it again to the full length. You can see how I place my ruler slantly back to the full length. Then I'll go ahead and cut out that part. We are back to the front. I'll open up the pattern paper so I can extend the lines. That's the full length, the waistline, the bust point, and also the chest line. Though I've eliminated my darts, but I'm still going to follow this dart line. So I'll follow the dart line to extend the line as shown. To achieve the asymmetric hemline, I'll connect from the full length down to the 6.5 inches that I left. The next step is to cut out the parts that are not needed. Pay attention to how I'm cutting it, guys. So for this side, we'll be following the slanted line from the 6.5 inches. We are going to cut it back to the full length as shown. From the side we are working with, this part is not closed, it has a slit, so I'll go ahead and open it up as shown. To be accurate, come up by how many inches you want your slit to be. For me, I will come up by 3 inches from the full length. From that line of full length, I'll come up by 3 inches. Then I'll connect it as shown slantly, like I'm trying to open up the slit to be visible. Can see, right? So I'll go ahead and open it up again to meet that 3 inches line that I went up by. The next step is to work on the asymmetric neckline. From the shoulder slope, I will come down by 3.5 inches. Then from that 3.5 inches, I will go in by 2 inches as shown. Then I'll connect from the 2 inches line back to my neck width. From this other side of the neckline, I'll connect it back to that 2 inches line. You can decide to extend the neck width maybe by extra 1 inch or ½ inch, but for me, I just want to maintain the same neck width of 3 inches. From this side of the neckline, I'm going to use my pencil, trying to create a curve that will lead to that 2 inches line as shown. I'm just using my pencil to create the design. Then after creating the design, I will go in with my marker pen to make it more visible. You can see how I connected it. You can decide to make your own curve deeper than this. It's completely optional. I'll cut this part out to join it back later based on the style we are working with. This part was being attached. So I'm going to label it J join. I'm going to label it join. You can decide to label it whatever thing you want. Then on this chest line, from the chest line, I'm coming down by 1 inch. Then I'll curve it to meet with that leg. I'm still using this dart leg as a guide, despite the fact that I've eliminated my dart, but I'm still using it as a guide. After using my pencil to curve it the way I want, I'll use my marker pen to make it more visible. To achieve the gathered effect or the twisted effect we have around the waist, we will have to cut this part out. Then we'll slash the remaining part of the paper. We are going to apply slash and spread method to achieve that. So we'll be joining this part back when we are done slashing the paper and creating these gathered effects. We are going to join this part back, but that will be later. I'll go ahead and label this side front, and I'll keep it aside. Then from that bust point, I'll slash my paper open. Then from that bust point, from the first slash that I did, I'll come down by 3 inches to slash the second one. Then from that 3 inches, I'll also come down again by 3 inches to slash the third one. Make sure you don't slash the paper out completely. You can see how I'm doing it, right? I've gone ahead to place the pattern paper on the fabric I want to use. This is a crepe fabric. This fabric is not stretchy, it's just normal crepe fabric. So what I will do now is to open it up to spread it by 3 inches. So from the first line, I'll spread it by 3 inches. Then I'll go ahead and use my safety pin to secure it. Then from the second one as shown, I'll spread it by 3 inches as well. Then I'll use my pin to secure it. I'll equally do the same thing to the last one. This video is already too long. I have to split this video into two. In my next video, we are going to add seam allowance to it, and we are going to trace out other parts as well. Then we sew it together. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and turn on your notification bell. So when I post the next one, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you so much for watching till this point. See you guys in my next video. Bye.